Greetings and salutations, my fellow Illumineers. It is me, your boy JDZ, and I am back at you again with another stream, another full mission profile, high impact day of Disney Lorcana as the LCC train is rolling along. We have not one, not two, but three matches we're bringing your way, and in the first match, I am not alone. With me, I have a very talented player, fresh off of his victory in Golden Mickey win in DLC in Milwaukee. Mr. TFM. Dan is in the building, putting
What
on
is
the blazer,
up,
taking off the jersey. Let's get
man?
it, Dan.
For
Congratulations
like
on that. How you feeling?
for like 2 hours, right? We gotta do this first, then we're gonna fill in. We're gonna start the show and end the show. You get to do both things that every wrestler wants: open and close.
That's what I'm
Like,
talking about.
that's it.
That's the attitude I need because NA is currently winning this
Mm.
LCCC right now. But if you don't know, if it's your first time tuning into the LCCC, Dan, can you just tell us about the LCCC, what it is, what it means to you, and how does it feel to be a part of this thing on this side of it, not just as on the broadcast side of it?
Yeah, so the LCC is great. The idea that you get to come together and either as a viewer watch these kind of titans of the community play against each other and having these games that are so difficult to actually achieve. As an example for me today, I'm playing Kawa in a few hours. Kawa and I have only ever played in two tournaments together, and like
Mm-hmm.
both of those tournaments were 2,000 players. So the odds of me playing against Kawa in a DLC are so minimal, and that's the same for anyone in this event. For in this particular season, I have only sat across from DKP and Aiden. They're the only two players I've ever played against in the 16 player structure until this event. So for me as a player, it's super exciting because you get to go in and have this opportunity to play against some of the most well-known players in the community, some of the highlighted content creators and things like that. And you also might have a chance, like me getting to play against Lucas in round one was awesome. I've never had that opportunity. It's cool to see his vibe, have the conversation with him, because it's so difficult to find time to do that, like even at a DLC, to like sit down and talk to someone for an hour. So that's what I love about it. This is season 3 of it. It's been a little over, actually just under a year. I think it started last December was the first one, if I remember
Mm-hmm.
correctly. So now you're talking about a year of this, and it's just great. Pavel really just gives everybody a platform and gives all of the viewers the content to be able to take it all in and just give us something to do, kind of like in this little bit of downtime, which is hilarious to say. I know you and I are very
Yeah.
busy people,
Right.
but like not everybody is as focused on Lorcana as you and I are.
Absolutely. I personally I agree with everything you said. I think the matches we've had so far have been phenomenal, and just having these dream scenario matches I think is going to be great, and we have that exactly today. But just to catch you guys up, this is round number 2. Here are the current updated standings on what has happened so far. The matches we're showcase to you guys today. Like Dan said, he's going to be in the final feature closing match against Kawa later on this afternoon. But starting us off, we're going to have Zach Bivens versus Speci, and then we're going to follow that up with Sky versus Lucas, and then like I said, we're going to end it with Dan and Kyle. Wonderland goes down to Bradley. Aiden goes down to Ed Lorcana in a U.S. versus U.S. war as Angelina takes down DKP in an EU versus EU war. And then Tiago takes down Lorcana Villain in this round. Zansaya and Minato are still outstanding. So those are the matches we have coming up. But the match that we have right now coming your guys' way is going to be none other than Speci, the ultimate specimen. Joe Curley is in the building, who's going to be coming on through playing his own little signature Emerald and Amethyst deck. He's going to be locked in against Mr. Bivens. So tell me a little bit about Speci. Tell me a little bit about Mr. Bivens before we get into their deck list, because I think the players should be getting ready to start soon.
Yeah, I mean, tribute to Joe here. He kind of is an all-around trading card game player, breaking out of his shell. He played in season 2. I think he did pretty well, if I remember correctly. I want to say it was the top 4. I could be wrong, but I think he made it to the top 4, if I remember. And this is a rematch, I believe. I believe him and Bivens played in season 2, and I think that Joe was able to get past Bivens in that. So this is like, maybe if we're Bivens here, we're looking for a little revenge, right? We're trying to get that revenge arc.
I
We're
like
trying to get
that.
those numbers.
Uh, uh,
And I think that that's really cool to see this this come up a second time. Obviously, both players here, they're well known for different reasons in some ways. The Speci and his charisma that he brings to the DLC booth, and even kind of taking that effort and going out, playing in Seattle last year, playing in Milwaukee this year, like traveling and playing a little bit more than he was in season 1. I really love to see that. Bivens, yeah, obviously Bivens plays in everything. He's had a little bit of a slump, I'd say,
Mm.
in since for core rotation. I don't think core rotation's been a big friend to him. I don't know how he feels about it, but I know that he's probably a little upset. I remember in Milwaukee he was a little bummed. I don't even remember seeing him in day two, like literally at all. I think he just like didn't come. So
Yeah.
not sure.
And it's tough. I mean, it's tough when you're on that level, and I'm certain you can understand that it's that consistency. It's going to be some slumps in there, and people might ask, "Do you still have it? Do you still have it? Do you still have what it takes?" And he's going to use this LCC. He did win the very first LCC event. Maybe use this as a platform to show, like, "Hey, I still got it," and he's going to be back on the mountaintop here very soon. So I'm certain that's going to happen. The players are still. I still don't see the screen set up, Dan. So we got a little bit more time to get through. But I want to ask you. I see the strategy that you brought. Again, you did have the opportunity to change some of your cards around, so I don't want you to give up any of your secret information.
Sure.
But it is open that you are on Amber and Emerald, and you are playing the Circle of Dog variant of deck. Can you just talk about why you brought that deck to the LCC, and what do you think about your matchup going against Kawa, who is on Sapphire Steel this evening?
First and foremost, I don't call the deck Circle of Dogs.
Oh, my bad. Clean it up. Let's.
No,
I
yeah,
like
no,
it.
it's
Set the
just Circle.
tone.
The only dog in the deck is Tramp, and it's just because Tramp reads draw and discard a card, and like also happens to be a 7 cost body. But for like the majority of the lists that are out there, there are some hybrid versions of the deck, and I think that those would be called Circle of Dog. But I think that I'm more just on the Circle of like combo variant, not necessarily focused on the aggressive side of the deck
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. But yeah, I think that I brought the deck for a couple reasons. The rules were not necessarily clear, and they changed a little bit here and there as a player, so we were kind of learning on the fly what was happening. But that's okay. But I really thought that we were going to be open deck list like it was for season two, so I just wanted to like I don't know, make a four-liner and say tell my opponents to figure it out in playtesting. And then when everything was closed, it was like, oh, I guess that's not relevant.
That's funny.
So, but I do really like the deck. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's, I also think it's pretty competitive. I think that if you ask me, it's not getting enough love in the metagame.
Yeah, I think people might think it's like high roll or high super volatile, but I've seen when people are at the helm and they understand the deck and they get the ins and outs, it's very powerful of what it can do. It can cheat so much ink, it can storm so much advantage, and I like it. But what is your message to the EU team and your opponent Kawa? Is there anything you want to say to him who may or may not be watching this thing?
First and foremost, congrats to everyone that attended Singapore.
Hmm.
A pretty good showing from the team there. Tiago picking up a new gold Mickey. It was really cool to say that I was like the most recent gold Mickey winner in the LCC, and then Tiago went and ruined that for me. So
Okay.
at least he's still Team NA though. That's cool. That's good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this. I like the idea of having the NA versus EU vibe, and I think that's cool. It's something that like people can root for and things like that. But for me, I'm just in it to have the good experience, play the games, have better conversations with players, with obviously commentators like you, players like Kawa. So I'm really just excited to like continue to go through the tournament and play games against players I've never had the opportunity to.
Man, that's not the energy I need, Dan. I need you to cut. I specifically asked for a WWE style promo there, and you didn't deliver,
I
Dan.
I got no beef with Kawa, right? Like
Let
my
me.
only my only beef is the fact that Lorcana Villain couldn't get a second win, and
Let's
now
go.
I feel obligated that I have to lose just to play him. Like I'm just like it's the worst. This guy couldn't even get a win in a favorable matchup. It's crazy. I'm just kidding.
Dang. Okay.
Love you, Baker, but no, seriously.
Man, I need you to come in here. Well, you know what, bro? I need some energy, man. Dan, that's not what I wanted. This is we train for this, man. You gotta it's a show, man. I'm kidding. It's all love. It's much respect to everyone, especially yourself and Kawa, how much work you guys put in for the community and how much you mean to a lot of people. So obviously there is no ill will or bad blood. But I think the players are ready, Dan. So really quickly, we're gonna kind of storm through the players deck list. So I want to kind of start with Joe Speci's deck. Here is the ultimate specimen ink casting. He didn't change any cards. We saw this in the last round of the LCCC. Super aggressive deck. I mean, we would call this almost a burn-like strategy or a story-like strategy. Instant lore burst. There's a lot of things that can do. This deck is very aggressive. What are your thoughts on a deck like this? Have you tried to play a deck like this? And what do you think Speci has cooked here?
Speci is playing one of my favorite cards in Show Me More. I think that this is a card that was underplayed since its existence, so I really like the concept there. Webby is great when you're playing in Sapphire decks and like okay against everything else. I think that we saw a good display of what this deck has the ability to do against Wonder in round one. I am not hyper confident about going into this next game, but listen, anything can happen. We play games for a reason.
We play games for a reason. I think that's a very safe bet because we do have Zach Bivens who is bringing this strategy here. This is going to be Mr. Bivens. He's back on Amethyst Steel. No surprise, he brought that deck. He's played this deck a lot. He did make a few subtle changes. We see that we have 4 copies of Demona now in the deck with only 1 copy of Doc the Bull Knight. I'm glad that I have you here because I know you are an Amethyst Steel main. I know you kind of have abandoned the strategy. I need you to get
Yeah.
back into the
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
dojo
whoa, whoa, whoa,
with
whoa! I
Amethyst
didn't
Steel.
abandon anything. All right,
Wait a minute.
don't
Oh,
be hitting
what?
me with that. All right,
Wait.
don't be
Okay.
hitting me
My
with that
bad.
juju.
My bad. My bad. Okay. What would you call it? Okay. I don't see you on it. Okay. I need to. You know what I'm saying. I
Listen,
like. To,
okay, I am one of the few in the community that I will play any deck. So like, I don't need to play Amethyst Steel every day to say I can play Amethyst Steel. Like that's
gotcha.
not a problem for me.
Okay.
What I like about Zach's list here is he is not on any He Hurled Thunderbolts. For me, I hate that card in this deck.
Okay.
I was never a fan of Zeus in like prior to rotation in this deck. I just hated having to play that card. So I'm super excited to see Zach agrees with me. At least I can say like, okay, cool, I agree with Zach Bivens today. That's awesome. Aside from that, I think this is pretty straightforward. I think the less docs, more Demonas makes a lot of sense. I think if you are evaluating the tournament itself, it kind of makes sense too. Like if you're kind of metagaming this small tournament, if we're like looking at cards that we want to include in these matchups, then I also think that what Bivens' choices are make a lot of sense to me.
I like it. I would concur with you mightily on this strategy. I think it's nice. It seems super clean. And I would say, in my opinion, and you may not agree with me here, but
Sure.
I feel that this deck is the Amethyst Steel strategy is the antithesis of fun. When I say that, I mean like anybody who's trying to bring a for fun deck or any kind of thing that is not one of the meta staples, this deck is going to kind of keep that at bay. And I think that I agree with you as well. I think that Mr. Bivens' strategy is going to line up very nicely against Speci. I think Speci is going to be up against the ropes here. He's going to have a long hill to climb to kind of get back into an advantageous position. I don't know if you agree there, but we'll make quick pick'ems before we start because I think the players are ready.
Yeah, I think the players are ready. I listen. A, I'm on Team NA, so I got to root for Bivens. B, I'm a Bivens fan. C, I'm an Amethyst Steel fan. D, I think this matchup is so difficult. I think it's Bivens, and it might even be a 2-0 Bivens. I'm just being honest.
All right. I think I might agree with you there, but with that, Dan, I think it is time to quest. So let's get it. The Illuminators are ready. I'm ready. You're ready. I believe the judges are ready. And just like that, the crop went in so nice. You couldn't even tell I
Love it.
was over here cooking the whole time. The crop went in so smooth. And just like that, it is time to quest. Okay, on your left, you have the LCCC winner, Mr. Zach Bivens, Golden Mickey World Topping Illuminator versus Joe Speci on your right. I think he's a very dangerous player. I think he gets a lot of he gets a little underrated, I would say, because of some of the decks that he plays. But I saw him in DLC Milwaukee. He got a gold. He got not Golden Simba. Golden Simba is crazy. He got a Simba. He did earn a Simba in DLC of Milwaukee, but
Yeah, nine and
I
three.
I think he's a phenomenal player.
Yeah, I went 9-3 in Milwaukee with a off meta Emerald Steel pick.
Yeah.
But listen, it doesn't. It's not easy to go 9-3 in any tournament. Period. So like clearly Specky has a brand and he's sticking to it, and it seems to be like wild Emerald cards right now. But hey, I'm with it. Like I like Webby too. She's a great card.
Yeah, I think his claim to fame is just play anything super aggressive and obnoxious. I think I would hate, and I mentioned that in the last round I had to cover with Speci. I would hate to line up against Speci, especially in a round one, because you know it's going to be something super overtly aggressive, and you know it's going to
Yeah.
be extremely obnoxious, and he is going to actually come out and hit the gas pedal on you, and that's just how it's going to be. So shout out to him for doing that, and hopefully he can continue to have some success because I want to see this thing go down to the wire. I'm not rooting against Mr. Bivens, of course, but I
Yeah.
like a tight finale here in the LCCC.
Yeah, it's really just the when you line up the decks. I think that they both. I thought him and Wonder talked about this pretty great at the end of the last set, where they were like, oh, Amethyst Steel is kind of a deck that's going to be cooking. So people are going to be playing decks that are like more tooled to beat Amethyst Steel. So therefore, I want to position myself to beat those decks. And that's a great strategy in this tournament because there was only, I think, three Amethyst Steel players.
Uh
So
huh.
16 people, you dodge pretty well, on average. Like, that's not bad. But in round two, not the dodge. Unfortunately, so we have to see how this deck, if he can formulate the strategy that's going to get him, the best chance of winning. I will say, going second, losing the dice roll, probably not what he wanted either.
He does have those double Chromacon in hand, which again, this Amethyst Steel is going to benefit mightily from that. As we are going to go Palace Guard on one, we have a pretty tight curve set up as well with the Black Heron into the Pete, Cheshire Cat, or Cobra into a Sing Strength, and maybe even including another 3-cost character in the fray as well. So this is looking pretty good for Mr. Bivens here, who has basically everything that you want in this scenario. And then you can end off with that Demona to exert all of Speci's characters and probably take them out in one fell swoop. So everything is kind of, the story is kind of telling itself here is what could potentially happen to Speci, as he's going to need maybe these Chromacons could be the answer. You got triple Pegasus. Is that good enough?
It's a good start into this current, look. It's going to gain a lot of lore early, I think, if that's like the plan we go with, because right now this deck doesn't have any evasives until turn 4. There's also no Tinkerbells. Like, there's no like wide board wipe, so it might be enough to say like, hey, my Pegasus are going to gain me 5, 6, 7, 8 lore, and if that happens, we're in a good position to like find Chromacons late and just like gain a bunch of lore through all of the different burn things that we've seen in Speci's deck.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think another key card that I'm sure Mr. Bivens is going to value super highly is going to be that Cheshire Cat. I think the
Yeah.
Cheshire Cat being able to just spring some damage and pop all these 1-cost Pegasus, as we are going to do a flood here, triple 1-cost. If they can get loose, just like you said, Dan, maybe this could be a way. But Speci is just going. Not, excuse me, but Mr. Bivens is probably super comfortable just continuing to also add more characters to the board and continue to quest as well, because you understand that your top end might be a little bit more powerful than what Speci can do.
Yeah, what's really funny is like looking at this board and understanding no evasives for Zach. It's really hilarious to say things like this, but there's a world where singing and doing 3 damage to the Palace Guard and then starting moving damage with Cheshire Cat ends up being correct because he just holds damage.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird play, but the way I'm looking at this field, I'm like, yeah, man, I can buy that. Like, I could totally see this play happen.
I
Uh,
wouldn't hate it if he pulls that off. That I You know what, I would have missed that one too. That's a great line, man, and that's such a rare line that I don't think I've even seen
yeah,
that. But you
yeah.
you could potentially set that up and continue to add more characters to the board. And I think the Pete game referee actually could get some value here if you could time it just right to stop that gathering wisdom and knowledge, as Speci is continuing to add more aggressive characters to the board. The White Rose coming down, gaining another piece of lore for the ultimate specimen, as we kick it back on over to Zach Bivens now, who gets into the Calhoun, who could be strong here. So let's see if he takes a play like that. I'm not sure if he's going to do it, but he totally could to get after these evasive characters.
Yeah, so he's kind of like locking in his hand right now, trying to figure out like, hey, what's going to happen. Now, knowing what you're playing against, there could be a nice little gamble of saying like, hey, I can ink this Demona because if I'm going to be real, Specky's going to start drawing cards soon, and when Specky draws cards, I draw cards, and that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. But he does opt to get rid of the Pete, and I think that it's interesting too because the Pete would have been kind of one of those plays where if it's timed perfectly, and like like gets resources from Joe, then this is fine. But I don't know if that's like a real line that's going to exist too often in the game. So I don't mind inking the Pete there either.
I like it. Hey, yeah, just get him out of here and just keeping that inkwell going. And maybe you are trying to set up a nice Demona play, so he does not take that Strength of Raging Fire line and use this Cheshire Cat as a machine gun turret, electing to leave these Pegasi up and active. And maybe he just didn't want to force a trade with the White Rose, keep your Cheshire Cat around. No, I don't think that would work either. So maybe. Uh,
Yeah. What's also notable, and this is just because like you can do it, and I think that maybe not in Bivens' list, but for anyone that's like playing Olafs or Elephants or things like that, he had the option to actually boost the Cheshire just because. And I think there's a lot of lists now that you're going to see that have Olaf and that have Cheshire Cat, and
mhm.
on that turn specifically, we would have used those 2 resources just to put a card under in the event that we like find an option to like draw cards with Cheshire Cat later.
And just bounce it and get a nice little bounce back. I
Yeah.
don't hate that approach at all. And I think also I read something somewhere that someone said they were saying like, hey, just continue to boost it.
Yep.
You could just thin your deck a little bit, and just maybe your next card is always going to be your best card, and it's more likely that you send something that you don't need than you do, if that makes any sense.
It's what it makes the sense out of it is that the cards that are under Cheshire Cat should be treated the same as if they are the bottom of your deck. So
Mm,
like they have no bearing on the game whatsoever. Like it's just just remove that whole thought process from kind of like your gameplay.
got it. Not so you're not even you're just trying to get it out of there. You don't care about your next card.
No, it's the same as it being on the bottom of the deck. It's irrelevant.
Man, I like to. Oh, and this else is a problem though. So this is
Yeah,
what
no,
Speci does not want to
yeah,
see.
it's all bad. It's all downhill from here. Like this one Elsa holds all the damage in the world and banishes all the Pegasus lines. Joe's sitting with 2 gathering in his hand. He's only on 7. He can go to 8, go to 12. So like he's got to draw really well over the next couple turns because now even he can't even play this Curse Merfolk.
Yeah,
You know, like if he plays the Curse Merfolk, it just gets Cheshire Cats. It's like that feels so bad.
you might have to do something with this excuse me, with this enigmatic ink caster, and
Yes.
maybe you can kind of pop off with that thing and gain the rest of your lore that you need. But Mr. Bivens is also questing for 4 turn as well, and I think he's just going to outclock you as you continue to use these amethyst chromacons. You can be adding more cards to both your hands. He's going to get more lore in the process, as well as the chromacon does indeed trigger for another Cursed Merfolk. Yeah, this is looking real sour for the ultimate specimen. Hopefully, he can get something happening here as the caster is down.
Yeah.
Enigmatic Inkcaster. Holy moly.
So I do
Yep.
like this a little bit more. And obviously, it looks like he was able to gain the lore from the Incaster as well. So this is pressuring, and we have 4 lore in our hand. So that's notable. You know, if we go to 9 there, and now you say, okay, you can answer my Pegasus, you can answer Curse Merfolk, but like as long as I get to, ready and still have 1, I get to go to 11, and then I have 15 representing in my hand, 16 with the Inkcaster. I'm going to draw a few cards with Chromacon. So there is a path to victory here, which is nice.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance.
That's all we need. That's all we need is a chance, man. I just want to see more games as Speci is on the draw. It looks like the Demona is going to come on through, giving Speci an additional card. But here you go, losing your entire board in one fell swoop. You actually hate to see it if you are the ultimate specimen, because you needed at least one more unit of lore out of this board, as the Calhoun is getting loose on one of these Cursed Mofolk, dropping Diablo and gaining 2 lore in the process. Yeah, this one might be. This one's looking kind of bad, man.
Yeah, the Demona was really powerful. Like just getting the extra lore even out of the Calhoun is so good. The cards in hand are basically irrelevant to this state because Speci has to draw cards with Chromacons, which means you get to draw cards also. But now we're on 11. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in play. So it's getting a lot more difficult to have the clock in favor of Joe now.
Yeah, and he is on his back foot. This deck needs to be out and ahead. He needs to be in a control or in an aggro type position. You never want to be on your back foot trying to seize control from the Amethyst Steel player, because you just don't have the cards in your deck to be able to board fight adequately at all. So there's no way that you're going to be able to take this board back, especially with a fully loaded Cheshire Cat just ready to pounce. You have this Honey Marin that can gain you a lore, and then you can go for a Gathering Wisdom, and then the Enigmatic Inkcaster can gain you another one. So potentially that's a lot. Actually, no, you don't have a card to ink, so forget I said anything.
Yeah, there is no card to ink, which makes it hardest. But we're gonna draw some cards, right? Like we're always drawing cards.
Oh, there you go.
So we drew another. Oh no, the Incaster is inkable. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's uninkable.
It's uninkable,
right?
yeah. But
Man, yeah,
you don't have to pay an ink cost. Never mind. I thought you had to pay one to trigger it, but you can just play the ending. So
Yeah.
maybe hold up, let him cook, slam another ink caster, and then Gathering Wisdom. That's 4. Never mind.
So we have to still find a way to ink this turn, right? Like that's kind of the problem. Now like this is tough. So we can gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
6, 7.
Like,
Did you do that on purpose?
I did not.
Oh God.
Sorry. Never on purpose. Yeah, this is tough because like we can we're gonna have to draw well because right now it looks like Bivens can't win the game, so that's nice, right? Like if he can't win next turn, then we still have a chance to maybe like just draw the other two Gathering Knowledge Wisdoms in our deck and like we pray, like that's
Yeah.
totally an option. So I do like this line of just saying like, okay, like now I don't. It's tough to ink the Honey Marin here, but I think that you kind of
No,
have
I don't.
to
I don't
because
think
you.
you do because he does have 4 ink, so you can. You
Well, I'm
can.
saying I want to put a Merfolk into play because the
Gotcha.
Merfolk means that like he has to take a. He basically has to take a turn to, um, take 2 resources to banish my Merfolk at least, which makes his play a little worse on average. And I think that like it's okay as long as we're gonna get to. I guess it's gonna be +5. Oh no, that's so tough.
What if you
No,
go?
no, no,
What
that's
if you
still
go?
good
What
enough,
if you go?
right?
What if you go? Honey Marin, Honey
Yeah.
Marin plus a Gathering Wisdom.
But
Can you
we
do
already
that?
used two.
Oh,
We
you
already
already used
used two
two.
ink,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
So
you're right.
like, that's why I think you have to ink it. Play the card. Play the gather. Gain the extra lore. So you go to 13 this turn, and then we still have actually more than that, 14 this turn, right? And now we still have this gathering in hand, so that represents 16, 18. So now all we have to do is find 2 lore.
Yeah, this ain't bad. Hold up,
There's a
let him
chance.
cook.
There's a chance. So
And
now
he's
he's
got.
sitting at 13 for your little overlay. I got your help, bro.
There you go. There you go.
Um,
Boom.
and he's got a chance. Like this is like a reasonable chance to take away this game.
Oh, we got another Elsa though, so that kind of is going to.
No, Elsa's actually. I don't think the Elsa matters at all. Because we were always able to Cheshire Cat. Oh, we had 2 of them
We
though.
got
Oh,
double. Yeah, we got another. So we got Cheshire Cat and Elsa, so we can clear both of these Merfolk here and now, and then
okay.
get another quest in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so unless we can go, I think you're gonna need double Gathering Wisdom here on the next turn.
Yeah.
Plus,
So this
yeah, you got
banishes
to.
1, and then we can Cheshire Cat the other one. I think there's still a 1 damage laying around somewhere.
Yeah,
It's on
the
the
Elsa.
Elsa, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the other Elsa has 1 damage on it, but Calhoun is going to gain you another 2 units of lore, going up to 13. Is Mr. Bivens. We are discarding freely because the Chromacon is just giving you all the pieces you need. We are
Yeah.
going to boost and take down that cursed Merfolk who almost had a chance. If that thing could have got a quest off, you'd be looking a lot better. But now you're going to have to try to burst off 7 this turn. And I don't know if you can do it. There's got to be a line there. What's the line? We have Gathering Wisdom, 2
So
Ink
there are
Casters. That's 4.
right,
Another
and then like Honey Marin, right? Like
White Rose. Would that do it? I don't think you have
White.
enough ink to do all that. You
Hold
got
on, White
6
Rose.
ink.
No, we only have. Yeah, we only have 6. We do draw a Honey Marin, so that's a good start. So we'll draw another. Webby's not gonna do it, and we're gonna draw our last card.
Thinking here before we draw, we're gonna go for the Honey Marin. We're just gonna play it here for 2.
Right, so that's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And this basically has to be 2 lore from
It's
this
got to be
Chromacon.
gathering wisdom off the top. It's got to be off the Chromacon, and I think you have the ink open to do it. So you have it out, and we're pod racing here. Here it is, gathering wisdom, or it's GG. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Rub it.
Rub.
Don't rub it. Oh, it's another Webby. Oh
Uh,
no, it is another Webby as Mr. Bivens is going to come on through and take down game number 1. That was a great match. It went a lot better than I thought as Speci was on the draw. So looking back on it, I think it's a little bit more winnable than I originally thought. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the opening was nice. I think we were able to get the most lore out of exactly the Pegasus lines, whereas the other 1 cost probably, don't have the same leverage, and they would have fell short, I imagine. So you did get a bit of extra lore there. You also had a nice, couple draws there, like having the idea that we had 2 Gathering Wisdoms early, we had 2 Chromacons. So I think a lot went well to make that game contentious. But listen, all we need is the proof, right? We just need
Yeah,
the proof. So now we're like, okay, we got to 18 going second. We can get to 20 going first. I mean,
yeah.
let's be honest.
A little bit of confidence booster is what you need. But looking at these deck lists, we know Zach Bivens' deck pretty well. We know what he's trying to do. But looking at Joe's deck, he's going first. What does he need to do to win? Is it just hit the gas pedal even sooner? Are you looking at that Scrooge McDuck card? Are you sticking with this evasive plan? Are you just trying to hoard all of your items, get those Chromacons down early? What's your path to victory if you're Joe Speci Curley?
Number one would be hope our opponent misses Captain Hook. That would be great. And then, getting the most out of a Curse Merfolk, whether it's just 2 lore and a card or 4 lore and a card, would be great. If Bivens doesn't have Palace Guard or Captain Hook, all of a sudden, this Curse Merfolk could gain 4 lore, and that is the difference of the game potentially.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of the Flynn Rider. I think that the boost mechanic is great for him. I think like having a 3/2 with 2 lore is wonderful. But I also wouldn't hate just being like, hey, Pegasus is great because it lasts forever. And then I'm a big fan of Scrooge McDuck. I think establishing Scrooge McDuck early, sift through the deck, help you get to the cards that you really want, and then basically a repeatable threat. Like that. Nothing gets around a Calhoun better than a Scrooge McDuck. All right, I
Hmm.
love it.
Yeah, it's such a good card. I think he might be a bit undervalued, underplayed in this current metagame. But looking at Mr. Bivens' deck, he has so many cards that are just like an auto win. Like an Iago is just a win. Like Elsa is just a win. More often than not.
Iago is like so mean in this matchup. Just
It seems like
like
he's unbanished. You'll never get rid of it. Like
no,
he'll be there
ever.
forever. Like you have no card.
Literally, yeah. Like there's
You
just
have
not
nothing
like
for it.
you're just like, oh yeah, that I forgot that card. People don't play that card. Like
Yeah.
what? Like yeah, no, they do. So yeah, that's definitely not the card that Joe wants to see on turn 4.
And it looks like we have more Dombinos. We have that Hades looking for a deal, and we have another basically automatic win condition in the name of Elsa, the Fifth Spirit. So yeah, this is probably a nightmare scenario for Speci. I'm certain when he designed his deck, he probably carefully crafted it to line up against the Sapphire strategies that were highly speculated to be some of the best decks. We see Sapphire Amethyst is returning in a major way. I think this deck would line up nicely against that
Oh yeah.
strategy.
Oh yeah. Easy pickings.
Yeah,
Easy pickings.
but
It would be nice. I mean, listen, aggro is loving nothing more but the idea of Sapphire Amethyst coming back. Promise
hmm
you.
yeah. This would be great there, or Sapphire Emerald. I think it would have a good matchup there. I think it has good, but this right here just is not one of those. And I
No.
did mention that earlier. I think Amethyst Steel. If you're trying to do anything rogue or anything for fun or anything off meta, this deck will just absolutely slap you all the way around. It's just so consistent and it just does everything so well that anything that is not the best deck, you're gonna get cooked. And even the best decks get fall short against the Amethyst Steel strategy,
Hey,
especially at the helm
listen.
of a player like Zach.
If I'm Speci right now, I'm kind of excited. I don't see a 2 cost in Bivens' hand.
Mm.
This is a path to victory.
Oh, we talked. Yeah, that's a missing curve and not singing strength. You are on the draw, so you will get a chance to get one. You got two chances at it or
Mhm.
you get a play your Palace Guard, draw a card for turn that next turn. So there is I guarantee you he's gonna get it.
Hey,
Maybe
hey,
it's that
hey.
one of Doc, but
You can't make promises, all right? You can't do
oh, this is a
that.
guarantee. Take it straight to the bank as we're gonna start this thing off with another Pegasus gift for Hercules. I love this card, and he's playing that beautiful DLC promo version, which I am actually in love with.
Yeah, our
As
card's
we
beautiful.
followed up with another Palace Guard.
So notable here, the Palace Guard is not a Captain Hook, which is great. It's a little like it makes our next couple plays a little more interesting, but now we can just go double Diablo.
Oh,
And we can start questing with this Palace Guard. And listen, when they're banishing Diablos, you're kind of okay with it. You're like, yeah, whatever. I got my lore. I drew my card. You didn't put any damage on your character because then Cheshire Cat can't do Cheshire Cat things. So ideally, that's definitely what he wants.
yeah.
I
This
just
is
want to point out that you took nothing to the bank. You are bankrupt. There is no 2 drop.
oh, dang. You're right. Dang, I was hoping you didn't say anything. I was hoping you didn't catch it. Okay, my certified JDZ guarantee. Usually you could take him to the bank. That one came up a bit short, and I hate to see it. But he did play a Diablo on 2, which again, very anemic turn 2 for the Amethyst Steel player. You need something with some stats. I'd like to see a Calhoun
Yeah.
there to be able
Hot
to
take.
accost these Diablos.
Hot take. Diablo shouldn't be an Amethyst Steel anymore. That's right. Heard it here first.
Really? Talk to
Yeah.
him. What are we replacing it with?
We just
Olaf?
any yeah. Olaf is great, but like just more palette whatever. Like the O1 with nothing to buff, with no mana mims, with no Jafars, with no like none of those things. Like you're basically just saying, hey, can you please just banish my Diablo so I can draw a
Yeah.
card? Like that's all it does now. Like it's not good enough. It's
I
not
don't
the
know, man.
same.
I've seen these. I've watched a lot of Lorcana. I've seen these Diablos go for 4 sometimes, go for 5. People just
That's
don't
fine.
don't respect them. They just let the little bird sit
Yeah,
over there and
that's
quest.
okay. That's okay. You know what you need sometimes? You need a card that fights. And right now, even a 2/1 would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I like the vision. I can respect the Grussel. I like a nice, strong, solid take as well. As we got that Scrooge McDuck, and this start is looking phenomenal for the
Yo,
Specinator.
I
Not
can't
gonna
wait.
lie.
I can't wait to show me more next turn. That's gonna be just so fun. Love that card. Love it.
And he's set up quite nicely. That's a lot of questing power on board. You're sitting at 4, and Mr. Bivens does not have a character that can engage in fisticuffs here. You probably don't want to have that Palace Guard taking down these Diablos, but I think that's what you have to
Well,
do. Get that lore off the board.
you know what's so interesting too is that because of the state of the game and like the show me more is going to draw cards, this Lexington that's going to come down this turn, not even going to feel very good. It's just going to like banish one Pegasus and never ready ever again.
Yeah,
Like
I think for those reasons, I might have to send this Dumbo in and get not a drawing Dumbo, but a combat Dumbo to get after these
yeah.
to get after these Pegasus, man. As the Lexington, you're right. He's not going to be doing anything in this scenario.
I mean,
The
he's
giant Cobra
listen.
could be a nice a turn as well a little bit later.
Yeah. Yeah, like it could make a difference a couple turns, like specifically once we have like infinite cards in hand. But you can see here, he's thinking like, hey, what do I need to keep in my hand? What do I have to ink? Um, knowing that there are two Pegasuses like in play, also knowing that hilariously your Diablo can challenge a Scrooge McDuck and get rid of it. That is a notable thing that can happen in this game. This is like feels still okay. And he just has all of the evasives to kind of finish out the game later. And if we get to that point where all of a sudden we're getting the Demona, then I think we're gonna be fine. But right now, Specky's only on 4 lore. That's
Ugh.
probably not exactly where he wants to be.
But he did send the Lexington over the Dumbo. The else is coming, and the Show Me More is going to come on through. Show Me More is a card that also, like you said, might be a bit underplayed. I think it has some value there. Drawing 3 cards is always going to be a good thing more often than not. But in this meta, it has to be probably in a deck similar to Speci that can play closer to the ground in a more aggressive variety. Giving Mr. Bivens 3 cards, but also giving yourself 3 cards and being able to use the remainder of your ink to flood more lore into the field of play and getting another Show Me More. You love to
Yeah.
see it.
And we get that Flynn Rider down too, which just is gonna help like just gain a few more lore here. So even right now, you're looking at like, okay, he can banish a Palace Guard and a Diablo. I'm gonna draw another card, and I'm still gonna have, this Palace Guard, this like probably the Scrooge might go back to hand. I imagine the Diablo is gonna like effectively banish the Scrooge McDuck here, which is fine. But it really is like looking to be like a much safer game and a much
Hmm.
easier game because right now we haven't even drawn any burn yet. And we're probably going to be able to get to 12, maybe 13, and then still have a Show Me More and a Chromicon to finish out the game while Bivens is currently on 1 lore.
Bivens just trying to do everything he can. It's just like this seems this trying to do everything you can in his spot. And you're looking at that Lexington, and you know that he has one challenge available. That's why we do have that Iago. Maybe he's good enough to kind of help swing this thing back. But that is just so much lore being generated by Speci per turn, and the refill game is taking effect. As you're going to be able to go Chromicon next turn as well if you want, and just maybe take a turn off to set up some more card draw to accelerate yourself into the later game. But
Yeah.
we're thinking about going Lexington number 2. What do you think about? I
Yeah,
think Lexington is terrible. I think he's got to get out of here.
no, so like I think the Lexington and the Hook is an okay play because it allows us to put 2 more characters into play, and if like it's tough, but like even Palace Guard and Hook might be better than just Iago this turn.
Hmm.
Because right now Joe is wide and you kind of have to be wide also. If there were a Cheshire Cat around, I might not agree. I might like change my mind. But right now, I kind of don't mind at all. Just like also going wide and saying like, hey, all my characters can banish all your characters still, and I still feel good about that. Specifically, if I'm going to
Hmm.
pick up an Elsa next turn, it's just really difficult to answer 5 characters and knowing that Joe can just easily draw another 3, 4 cards pretty much like on demand.
Yeah, I I agree 100%. We do take your play, so that is a nice lesson learned for everyone at home who may not be watching. That Scrooge's ability, he just needs to be challenged. He does not need to be banished, and in that situation, he will still trigger his ability. Also, he does not go to the discard pile. I learned that myself. So a lot of times, a lot of things says when this card is banished, challenged, and banished, the banish part doesn't affect, and he won't work. Like I think
Right.
what was it? What was it? It was
Like
a
Calhoun as an
yeah,
example.
yeah.
Yeah.
Calhoun will not trigger the
Correct.
will not trigger him. That's a super interesting card. I love that design, man. It's so cool. Stretching our game to the limits.
Yeah, gotta give creativity. 10 sets in, the game designers are still throwing curveballs, and that's all we could hope and dream for.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to get that banish. We are going to clear the Pegasus, and we are going to. I think we get what happened to that Palace Guard. I think Palace Guard was able to challenge the
The
Diablo as
Diablo.
well.
Yeah.
Okay, and we set up the Iago now. So, like you said, that is a bit of a slower turn, but I think it was a very necessary turn as we start to get into the burn now. Working with 4 ink. What's the play here? I think you might have to establish this Scrooge again, just get another 2 lore on the board, and maybe set up some of your draw to get yourself into a little bit of a deeper terrain before you get blown out by this Elsa. What do you think?
Yeah, so we're on 9. I don't hate boosting this turn, just getting the extra lore. Also, by boosting, it kind of means that the Iago has to challenge the um as the board states now, it has to challenge the Flynn. Otherwise, like the Flynn just gets to go, which means you get an extra lore out of both Pegasus and out of Palace Guard. So it kind of like gains you an additional lore in that sense. So I wouldn't mind boosting this turn, but I also wouldn't mind like this might have been the turn where I would have tried to get the Chromacon established just to draw the
Mm-hmm.
extra card before I made all of my decisions.
Yeah, I like that. I like that approach. Maybe he wanted to get the Scrooge down to see what you can draw and discard, then potentially get into the Chromacon. Maybe, but I like your play first. I think the
I
Chromacon
think it's tough.
needs to
Like
come out this turn.
so he's debating getting rid of this Webby, and I think that it's like you look at your hand, you're like, hey, this is the highest card cost in my hand. I'm probably not gonna be able to get a 2 for 1, et cetera, et cetera. But Webby has Ward.
Yeah,
like Webby having Ward is a super relevant way to trying to win the game because only Demona can exert Webby. So if you're just like, hey, I got to get to 20 later on in the game, like slamming down a 4 cost Webby that has 2 lore and Ward is a very effective way to win the game.
just like a little like an automatic little win condition there, like a walk off. Do
It's a good
something
check.
about it,
It's a
and
good check. Yeah.
it looks like we're gearing up to go for this show me more here, and that's going to be your form of card draw. Just filling up Mr. Bivens' hands with the answers required, and also trying to set your own self up with the answers. As we have the White Rose now is some quality ink that Speci agrees to put down into the inkwell. We're setting up the Cursed Merfolk. We got 2 more pieces of lore down. The Elsa is still looking mighty, but Cursed Merfolk versus Show Me More. I think that's kind of helps you out there a little bit.
So we have 1, 2, go to 11, and now the choice is: do I go to 12? Because we didn't boost yet. I think going to 12 is fine because there is 5 lore in Speci's hands. There is all the lore in the world in Speci's hands.
And he can blast all of that next turn as
What I
well.
will
No,
say
if you
is,
ink one.
challenging Curse Merfolk has never been more free for
Yeah,
Sacrifice.
you have so many cards. It's like okay, well, might as well. So
Yeah.
I almost think that the keeping that ink and going is he boost 1 or boost 2?
I think he's boost 1. If you go
I
to
have
burn
the
him up
whole
real quick.
machine right here. I guess I could just pull it up.
Yeah,
What am
I
I
can't
doing?
remember. I believe he is boost 1, but I might be mistaken.
I
I think.
have the literal machine. Oh, he's boost 2. Okay,
Okay, he's
that
boost.
makes a
Okay,
little more sense.
yeah. So
That
it was a
makes a
little
little
bit
bit more
harder to do
sense.
that turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a ton of cards in hand, and Mr. Bivens, if you can somehow manage to slow down this aggression a little bit, you have so much gas to kind of propel yourself through. But like you said, there's just so much lore in the hands of Speci that this one is looking like you're going to be in a great spot. The Scrooge looks like he's ready to quest, or at least ready to come back down next turn. You can only play 1 card this turn, and it's probably gonna have to be that Elsa, unfortunately, for Mr. Bivens.
Yeah, and it's notable that the Elsa like might just set up the Diablo challenge the Scrooge again. Um, because like if that's what happens and you leave Curse Merfolk in play, and you get to banish the rest of the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, no, no. The Palace Guard would also still remain.
But
So tough.
Is there a world where you just flood the characters and try to set up the big Demona next turn?
I mean,
No,
like you would just be
you'd be
like the
dead.
game would just end next turn, right?
Yeah,
Like there's like
you
that
can't.
play does not exist, you know? Like
You can't do it. You literally
like
cannot do it.
turn 6 doesn't exist in Bivens' world if he does nothing. So I don't think you can I don't think you can get away with that one.
No, unfortunate. As we are going to take down the Palace Guard, we are clearing the Flynn Rider before he becomes too much to deal with, and we are going to clear that cursed Merfolk. We do have to discard. I'm looking at that dock, and he's gone, dude,
Yeah,
immediately.
I think the game's over, right?
Two,
There's no other
three.
answers. We get to go to 15 and we have 5 lore in hand, so I think Joe gets this one.
Man, unless I'm mirror, yeah, there's nothing you can do, unless
I
we're
don't think
missing
so.
something. Looking at the gathering, and Honey Marin.
Yeah.
Maybe was it correct to exert that Scrooge again?
No,
And
either way, he was going to
yeah,
be there. There was just
for
like
sure.
the truth of the story is that while the Diablo was great for banishing a Scrooge McDuck once, it can't do anything else. So like
Hmm.
therefore the 0/1 in hand that never drew a card in play, then didn't challenge very well. And now the game is mega over because we just drew another Gathering Knowledge Wisdom because hey, why not? Um, yeah, this is it. That goes there. We
And
get
then two,
knowledge
four,
1,
and
knowledge
six.
2, knowledge 3.
Dang.
Come on, Joe. Show him the extra lore for funsies. Yeah. Oh, he's
Oh.
just okay.
And we had the Honey Mare too. Wow, what a showing, man. So Speci gets there, gets it done, and just like that, I ain't heard no bell, says Joe Speci. I'll show you what my deck can do, and we're going to see if we can get the victory as Mr. Bivens now is going to be back on the play. He came out, like you said, he had a super, super slow start. That turn to Diablo,
Yep.
to your point, I think
I
you
think
might
it's
be
the game.
spitting. He didn't do anything.
It's not even that. I just think that the idea that that was our turn 2 character and we didn't have any other turn 2 character, I think that's the whole game. Like it just he got a little lucky with the Scrooge McDuck. In all honesty, if that was just another character that had stats that wasn't automatically banished, then like Joe would have won even easier. You know, so.
Yeah.
I think it's a big deal there. I think that Diablo showing going second, it's just like not really where you want to be. And I just think you can get more benefit out of other one cost characters in your deck than Diablo represents right now.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm an easy to convince kind of guy. It sounds good. It makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? People don't I say wild stuff sometimes too. I'm like, hey, I don't like strength in Sapphire Steel. People think I'm a heretic when I say that. I'm like, oh, the card's just bad, man. It never works. I have one guy I'm trying to play Strength of Raging Fire, it's just not working. I'm like, no, you gotta play it. And I like it when people say you gotta
Well,
reassess, always reevaluate and
yeah,
see what's working.
I think a lot of it comes to the community in a way is that the community is so like new player like prevalent, and a lot of like there isn't like that many like quote professional card players that play the game, so there isn't that much innovation that like gets spread publicly,
Hmm.
and therefore everyone is so used to just like sticking to what has always been, you know.
Right,
And I think
right.
that that's the big deal is that like when you were like, oh well, I've been playing Diablo since Azerite Sea, you're like, yeah, I get it. It like try something else. Like it'll be
Go
okay.
back, reassess, dude, and give it a shot. But we got the all important game number 3. If you guys are just tuning in, this is the LCCC. I'm JDZ along with TFM. Dan is holding it down. If you guys like Dan, hang on. We're going to have a little bit more Dan a little bit later on. He is going to be the main event against Kawa much later this afternoon. It's going to be a LCCC showdown today. 3 matches. The first one, Zach Bivens versus Joe Speci Curley. The second one is going to be Sky versus Lucas Copa. And then we're going to end it with TFM Dan versus Kawa. So you guys are going to have an action-packed afternoon, a Tuesday to remember for the LCC. So keep it locked. Please don't touch that
Don't
dial. We're going
forget
to be here
about
all
Judge
afternoon.
Phil. All right,
Oh,
Judge Phil's hanging out. Don't forget.
oh, I'll never forget. How can I ever forget about Judge Taka Phil in the building holding it down? He's going to be here. Just Phil, all the judges here. We're gonna have, I think Ellie's gonna be here for a while. Phil's gonna be here. Obviously Pavel. Huge shout out to everyone who's making this LCCC dream a reality. Phil's holding it down right now on the wheels of steel, keeping this game running smooth as ever, buttery smooth out there.
Hmm.
Mm,
Looking
buttery.
at the hands here, Bivens kind of gets to do everything he wants. You know, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, which is awesome. That's all we can ever ask for when we're going first. It's more than we got last game, so big difference.
Yeah.
Speci, on the other hand, we have two Curse Merfolks, which, they're good for two lore, but when I'm looking at a Calhoun in Bivens' hand, that Curse Merfolk's going to look like not so good
Yeah,
pretty
it's
quickly.
especially when you have cards like Amethyst Chromacon and Show Me More in your deck.
Yeah.
The Curse Merfolk discard option becomes so free. We also have that Little John that could be a proxy, but I'm fairly confident that that is going to be the
I think
actual
it
Little
is.
John
Yeah,
itself.
I think so.
He's just going to be the O4 quest for one, just gaining any little piece of lore that you can. But he might find his way down to the Inkwell
I,
potentially.
I do have a fun question for chat, right? This game did get postponed. It got moved a day. There was an offering yesterday that Specky could have proxied 99% of his deck. Who would have liked to see that?
I mean, in any other circumstances, I wouldn't mind. But Speci's proxies, D tier proxies. He has the worst proxies ever. His test cards, his proxy game is so weak. It's
Yeah,
not. It would have been unwatchable. If
fair.
someone takes the effort and puts in like some really good proxies, then I don't mind. Or even like the print off joints that you can get, where you can kind of like see what the cards are. But Speci's proxies are actually bargain basement proxies. I can handle it. As we're getting a little
I
refresh
I
here.
definitely had a real good chuckle last week seeing that he had Little John's like proxied in his deck. I'm like, come on, man, like come on, like
And they were
I
they were
did get a
just
good
they were
chuckle.
just like they were just like Nalas. They were
Yeah.
Nalas, but he just put Little John on. I'm like, dude, just at that point, don't even put anything. Just leave it as Nala and say it's Little John. At that point, cut it out, Speci. It's
It
all
was
love.
pretty
It's
good.
all love. As we do
Made
have
me
that very
laugh.
threatening and ferocious Calhoun is up, just like you talked about. This Calhoun probably could just solo your entire existence right here. Lines up very nicely against these cursed merfolk. And then you have the Cheshire Cat, which is going to be available to start flinging some damage as well. So this is looking much, much better than the previous round as Lil Jon, yeah, up and active on the board.
Yeah. Honey Marin go. I think we'll put the Honey Marin in the inkwell there. Second one in hand though, already hanging out. But yeah, this is just like saying, hey, I got some stats. I don't, I don't think this is that bad, right? Like we get to banish a card, get rid of one. I think what's going to end up happening here is, next turn we're going to be able to do the kind of the same thing, but we're going to be able to put a genie into play and just like have the stats. And I think that's really probably where it gets up being pretty healthy because right now, without any evasives in play, um, you know, we can just banish all the cards and say you have to keep drawing them. Like it's going to be okay because eventually I'm going to have more stats in play than you are.
Yeah. And I think Speci is recognizing that fact and just trying to gain as much incremental lore as possible because notably Zach is starting to just exert his characters and just race off. If you're not going to exert, I'm gonna start questing, and he can just outflank you and just win as well. So Speci, identifying that and just starting to quest his characters and just starting to set up some trades, and maybe you can draw more resources as you're sitting at 6 lore now. I don't know if this gambit is going to work, but it could. This Captain Hook could make this situation a little bit more difficult, but he's going down into the inkwell.
Yeah, I think what's going to end up happening here is it's going to be a
Uh
choice of whether or not that we're going to banish Curse Merfolk this turn. You know,
huh.
so like we're going to draw this card. It looks like we drew another one drop, so it's very likely that we do just banish the Curse Merfolk and get the free lore, and then keep a hook around as our hand and ink for the turn most likely. This combos can banish this Lil Jon, no damage is left on play, and then we still have Calhoun to answer the Flynn Rider even if it boosts. So right now we're still low on resources, but we know again that like, hey, Joe is gonna draw cards, and when Joe draws cards, I draw cards.
Yeah, it's just
So yeah.
it's playing so nicely into Zach's plan, and that's why I think this matchup is just so untenable. Had this been any other strategy, this wouldn't be that bad because they wouldn't be able to challenge and also quest in the process. So this is looking and Calhoun obviously gaining lore as it's just taking out your characters, which is just so anti what you're trying to do. It's hilarious, but now you're forcing yourself into a position where you have to play one of these show me mores, which again is going to be that double-edged sword, which is going to gain your opponent 3 more cards to assault you with, and those are some very assaulty like cards. Elsa coming in on curve, you actually hate to see it for Speci.
Yeah, that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. um, and like, what are you gonna do? There could have been an argument that the Chromacon would have been a little bit safer if you already had another play, but Joe didn't have another play,
Hmm.
so I think because of that, it had to be Show Me More. Like, he had to get as many options as he possibly could to like get the most out of this turn. Like, he was really hoping for another one drop, right? Like, that's definitely what he was
Yeah.
hoping for, just so he can keep spamming the board and keep gaining the lore, and then hope that the Show Me Mores and the Chromacons will draw him burn, but that didn't happen. So now it's all kind of awkward. I do think that like establishing a Diablo is safe and it's okay, but at the same time, I would not fault Joe whatsoever of taking the extra ink this turn to just play the Chromacon and establish that as well.
Yeah, and just rip another card and hope for the best, because you know this Elsa is going to come through. You're in that Elsa turn, and Elsa is just probably, and I mentioned this, I think she's one of the best cards in the game. I think she's one of the best cards ever printed. I think her effect is so unique, and her stats are just great. I think her ink ability is insane, and she has two effects, and she's evasive. Phenomenally designed card. I think it's a bit too strong, and Speci has to know that card is coming. And when she hits the board, I think you're just probably going to have to pack it up right there, as we are going to continue to gain a bit more lore.
Yeah, so we played another Show Me More, and then we quested. It looks like he's deciding not to quest with Honey Marin.
Ah, I
Oh,
wonder
he
why.
is.
No, he
Okay,
did. He
never
did. I was
mind.
about to
Okay,
say you might as
yeah,
well.
I
At this
was
point, you got to send it, dude.
Yeah,
She,
I was a little confused. I was like, what
yeah,
happened? So unfortunately, the second Show Me More is exactly what he wanted. In the first Show Me More, just didn't happen that way. But now he's gonna go to 5 ink next turn, and he could just be like Diablo Diablo White Rose and be like, okay, like here's my first check turn. The problem with it is that right now I'm looking at a board where Calhoun just gets to eat another character, gain another 2 more lore to 8. Jajini can go to 10. The Palace Guard can pick off a Honeymoon, and then my Cheshire Cat goes to 11. I don't even need to play Elsa this turn.
I
Like, I
mean, or you can even take that Cheshire Cat and slam it to the Honey Marin and put some damage on the cat, and then now you
sure.
got this other turret of stuff. Or probably want to slam this Elsa anyway just to get it on board, but you have options and just save.
No,
You can
I don't
save the
think we
Elsa
want to
next turn.
slam. I don't think we want to slam the Elsa. I
Yeah,
think I would rather be like Cobra, Cobra Calhoun this turn. Like, just go wide because you have a Calhoun, like you have a
yeah,
Demona also in hand. So
for sure.
The Elsa's kind of irrelevant right
Oh yeah, you
now.
need that to take down the ready stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. So this turn basically reads: I banished all your stuff. I go to 11. I could just play Cobra, play Calhoun. I could go to 13 because I have 17 cards in my hand. Um, and then the Demona with double Calhoun, I think is just like literally wins the game. Like,
as he kicks the
I
as he
think
kicks the Dumbo out. Oh my goodness, the Hades down the inkwell. Yeah, this is looking grim. As I believe that is
five,
game
6, 7.
showing.
Okay, he doesn't even need the Demona. It's already game over. Like,
Yeah, dang.
so yeah, this one not nearly as close as game one.
I mean, it was still a vibe though. It was a vibe. It was a
Yeah,
vibey match, but Mr. Bivens had a much stronger showing this time, as the curve was simply tighter. You did not get to a strength of raging fire the entire time, but you didn't need it, as you just kind of proved this Amethyst Steel. Maybe especially won the dice roll. He probably had a better option there, but this is just looking great for the LCCC champion. World's topping Zach Bivens slammed the Cobra as revenge. You saw the Cobra come through with a vengeance there, as he's just like, "Get out of my face with your show me mores. I'm out of here."
he
As
didn't even
Mr.
need
Bivens
the
gets
Cobra.
it done.
Like, the Cobra was extra pudding, like you didn't even need it.
I love it. I love it. But what we're going to do, so that is going to be a GG. Both players played extremely well. We're going to mute ourselves in the video. We're going to unmute ourselves in the Discord, and we can talk to these players and see what they have to say about that match and how things went. So I'll mute myself here, and I will meet you there. Oh, if I could find the button. Oh my gosh. Yo, hello. Oh,
All right, we're vibing. We're here.
we made it. That was fast, Dan. Impressive. Impressive.
Yeah, that's kind of what we thought would be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it was possible for the games to go long.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's kind of went the way that we thought. But Speci did surprise me with some of the durability of that strategy. I thought that once it was kind of figured out, I thought it would just crumble, but he played it super, super well, especially in that game number two. Really demonstrated what that game can do, what that deck can do on the play. Sometimes it just does not matter. As we are being joined by the ultimate specimen, Joe Curley Cards is in the building right now, holding it down as we are waiting for Mr. Bivens to come and join us. But as we are doing so, Speci, it did not work out for you this time. We were talking in the preamble to this match how unfortunate that matchup is for you. Certainly, you did not design this deck to engage with Amethyst and Steel. But what was your game plan once you realized you had queued into Zach Bivens in this round?
Turn sideways, go quick.
Yeah.
I think my camera's not working. Never mind. Wait, I can maybe get it to work.
Oh, if it's working, I'll get your guys' beautiful mugs in there. If it's not, no pressure.
Okay.
No dime. Oh, there it is. Hold up. Let me.
Hello.
Yo, gentlemen, congratulations on your victory, Mr. Bivens. Hold up. Give me a second. Let me see if I can get your guys' cameras to work really quick. As I'm also joined by TFM's finest, Mr. Dan is in the building. Dan, what did you see in that matchup? What question do you have for these Illumineers while I get this interview set up?
I guess to start, we're going to start with Mr. Joe. How are you doing, sir? Hope you're having a good day.
I'm very well. It's nice to speak to a golden Mickey warrior.
Oh, thank you. You just played against me, so you're filled with it for the last hour. So, in game one, you're on the draw and you get to 18 and you were really close. Did that give you a little bit of hope for the matchup?
I mean, I had like hope for the matchup anyway. Like,
okay.
I think it's like no secret. I haven't tested too much this set. It's not a set it's probably the set I've played the least of. I haven't got like any tournaments coming up. There's like no European Challenge events, right? This set. So, been a little bit tuned out compared to usual, but I knew that my deck had definitely the power to win, even going second. I think Pegasus is probably the key, like early on. And it probably went about as well as it could. It probably went about as well as it could have gone in game one. I had like a nice curve with lots of Pegasus.
You could have won. Like there wasn't out to win the game. It was just like you just didn't get it. But it was very surprising to see that like where the game started, how it developed, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Listen, if he just draws it, like he's gonna win the game, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was glad to get myself in a winning position. That definitely, I have a feeling there was probably a couple of things I could have done perhaps a little bit differently, like perhaps whether that's within the deck building side of things. I think in particular, I think there's maybe like 8 to 9 cards I think could probably be a little bit optimized in the list I've got here to make this matchup a bit better. Like really, I'm a bit too teched for the Sapphire decks with like heavy on the webbies, but yeah, even like the Demona, like this kind of like when I played into Demona, I got caught a little bit off guard, which is obviously just a sign that I haven't played too much this format. But also like going into the last turn, I found 2 merfolks, and obviously he was able to answer one with the Cheshire Cat, and if he didn't have like I think it was another Elsa or something along these lines, then I also would have got there. So I was happy to get myself in a winning position. I felt like with my deck, if I win die rolls, I probably win the game. So the fact that I'm able to get it close going second is kind of the reason to play this style of aggro deck, where you have a lot of these cards like Gathering Knowledge and this, which you can lose board presence but still close out the game potentially.
Big agree.
Absolutely. Was there any trepidation from your perspective before we kick it over to Mr. Bivens of using those cards to show me more? I guess it is a huge part of your win condition, but we mentioned it in the commentaries. Like, hey, every time you play a show me more, you're giving Zach the answers required to come back, and you're kind of playing into. Was there any thought behind maybe trying to not use them? I guess you had no choice, right?
You couldn't. Yeah. There's no choice.
Yeah, you want to play them as late as you possibly can. So you saw like a good example is in game 3. I even said to Zach, I was like, yeah, this one's sadly over. Like I just looked at my hand and having to play when I'm at 4 ink going second, having to play a Show Me More or a Chromacon, it's too early really. You basically just want to be left with 1 card in hand and you want it to be a Show Me More. But I think I had like 2 Show Me Mores and a Chromacon in my hand at that point. So it is a fine balancing act. The other thing is you've actually got to, you saw in game 1, it went sort of perfectly where I played 1 Show Me More and then it found me the next one and the next one. And if you're playing them like in the late stages of the game, the extra cards that he has in hand doesn't matter. So try and like stifle the early hand and make things awkward with Merfolk. And then you start to play the Show Me More as late as you possibly can when you sort of start running out of of board presence, particularly when he's got cards like Elsa and Demona that are just going to be able to probably, if I play a character card, he's probably going to be able to remove it. It's around those turns where just playing these heavy card draw cards to dig for outs is the pattern. So I think the cards are very underrated. Mm-hmm. Definitely cards I enjoy, but of course, extremely risky. If you don't draw them, you just run out of cards, and if you draw too many of them, you're left giving your opponent too much time to catch up, really, and just take over the game very quickly.
Absolutely. I have one more question for you before we kick it over to Mr. Bivens. During this, going between round 1 and round 2, you're allowed to change your deck. Did you change any cards? I didn't see.
Nah, man, I don't want to change my deck, bro. I don't agree with deck changes mid-tournament. I'm stubborn, so I stuck with my guns. I probably should have. There's a few things I would change, but
what would they be if you're willing to share that information with people watching?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I basically submitted this deck with minimal testing, maybe like 4 games tested or something. It was more just like a theory craft. And then having seen a lot of the tournament data that I'm covering in my videos, I'm seeing a lot of players reduce the count of Webby quite significantly. So I think the 4-cost Webby, even though it's like great against Sapphire, I'm already very good against Sapphire, so it's probably a little bit unnecessary. I was a bit spooked away from playing Fred because of Tinkerbell in like Sapphire Steel, but Sapphire Steel is not quite as popular as I thought it would be when I built this deck, and certainly Amethyst Steel more popular than I expected it would be when I built this deck. So I would probably just like tweak it in that sense, right? At the moment, it's a bit overly teched for Sapphire, and I would just try and improve the matchup into something like Purple Steel, which I think a card like Fred goes a long way of doing. When you've got Pegasus, you've got Fred, you're sort of overloading their removal options. They're going to have to probably challenge Fred at some point, and that little extra burst of lore can make a difference. Like the Flynn Rider Whisper was very mediocre, but I don't think there's much I would change. Probably just like the 4-cost Webby, and maybe the Flynn Rider. I would look at bringing Fred in and some stuff like that, but nothing major. And to Zach's credit, he knew exactly what he had to do, really, which was apply lots of pressure. It's not just about removing my threats, but it was also he put on a very quick clock, right, and put on a lot of questing power. So game 1, there was definitely some interesting moments where I took like a challenge with the White Rose because I was worried about the Cheshire Cat moving damage around. And then there was also like an ink decision where I inked a Honey Marin and ended up playing like the double Merfolk. And I think that both those plays were correct, but I'm certainly interested to watch that game 1 back in particular because it was very fine margins.
Nice. Okay. And I'm sure it will be some good information gained as we're going to kick it over to our winner. Mr. Bivens showed up, showed out, got to the absolute dub in this round number 2, playing against the ultimate specimen. Can you just talk about, I just want to talk about your deck again, any changes that you made? I noticed, I think the docks have gone down and the Demonas have gone up. Did I miss something? What changes did you make and why before we kind of talk about what happened in that matchup?
Sure. So Doc was at 1 last week. It's at 1 this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said last week, I'm not a huge fan of Doc right now.
Okay.
You have to build the deck completely differently, and just not really a fan. So the changes were first week list. We had to submit super early, so like I didn't have any testing. So I had that big horse in there. I forget his name.
Yeah. The Wind Dancer, dude. The Wind Dancer.
Oh, the Mayor Wind Dancer. Yeah.
Like the day after I submitted the list, I realized how broken Iago was.
Yeah.
So we cut out the big horse and put in some Iagos. And we actually submitted this list a while ago too, so I don't even completely remember the changes that I've made from week to week. But basically, it's just a horse for the big. Change the big horse to a big bird, and you're good.
There you go. I like it. Inkable versus uninkable. They kind of do very similar things. But Dan has some questions for you, and I'm gonna let Dan ask it. But I'm gonna set it up. Diablo, what are your thoughts on the 1-cost Diablo?
So this is a tricky one. Olaf is very good right now, but I'm not playing the docks to take advantage of it. So there's a lot less value of Olaf in a build like mine. And I do think Diablo is still really good into like the Sapphire matchups late game, because you can just get some cards back and try to close out the game. Whereas if you don't have that draw power, maybe you can't. So I think there's definitely merit to Olaf and Diablo, but I'm a fan of Diablo right now, at least with the kind of build that I'm running.
Fair. My question was actually, does it feel good to get a win back off Speci? Because, last time you guys played, he got the best of you.
I drew like 400 Worlds and 4 Zeus in that last time we played, and that was tragic. Very good. Yes, it feels good.
I thought it was great.
You know what, Dan? I wasn't going to bring that up because I didn't even mention it because last time we had this same match, I was in the booth and I think I cursed you there. I cursed you, and I wasn't going to do it this time. We weren't going to bring it up, Dan, but now it happened.
Hold on, you cursed him again because you told the whole world that he was going to draw a 2-drop on 2, and he didn't. Like he didn't do it.
Oh yeah, game 2.
Dang. But from your perspective, sorry, Dan, go ahead.
No, you're good. Bivens, tight game, definitely, obviously not a meta game, right? So like, what would you say, like, if this is like you're going into a DLC and like all of a sudden you play against this type of deck round 1? What does that say about Amethyst Steel being able to like play into just like a very unknown like couple early rounds of a tournament?
So about Amethyst Steel in general, like it can play against literally anything. It's the most balanced deck to where you're not really going to blow people out usually, and you're not going to get blown out. You're always going to be in the game. So it's the best deck to play into something random, probably. I think it's very easy to look at these two decks and think that Amethyst Steel would be very favored because we have Elsas and Strengths and all these exert things. Like, we're typically good against a deck like that. But when he has so much uninteractive lore, like the Gathering Knowledges and stuff, I think the matchup is actually very, very close. So I think a lot of people are going to assume that Amethyst Steel should be really favored, but dude, I think it's basically a 50-50 here. And having knowledge,
I think I would have beaten. I think I would have beaten 90%, maybe more of Amethyst Steel players. But against Zach, it's he's like the perfect Amethyst Steel player, right? Because you've just got to get like every little bit of ink out of that deck, and he just put me under so much pressure every turn. So I don't think it's a bad matchup either. And if anything, I would actually say it's possibly slightly favored for me. But that's in the context that if you look at the die roll situation, right? When I went first, it was quite a big blowout. Obviously, in this sense where Zach went second.
He missed his 2-drop.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a big difference. Like he did miss the 2-drop.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I thought it was I did think it was closer than it looked, which was nice. And I think that as long as your deck does line up the way you want it to, Joe, and you're like, hey, I'm just gonna run a runner into Show Me Mores, then like you can just like really take over the game. But in game 3, it was kind of it was almost like his game 2 kind of went to your game 3, where like your decks didn't function how they were built to function, and therefore it like faltered out a bit. So it can go either way, I think.
So the matchup is really interesting, and where if I'm going to beat him on the draw, it has to be like through Calhoun, to where I'm still gaining lore while I'm able to remove his stuff. So that's like in game 1, you saw me mulligan 7, even though I had a 1-drop. Like, I have to get specific cards to be able to win the game against this deck. It's not just as simple as curving out and doing that. You have to be able to remove his threats and gain lore. So Calhoun is like the #1 card.
Yeah.
Which is also why Pegasus is my #1 card.
Yeah.
Pegasus is like the anti-Calhoun card, right?
Yeah, like in game 1, it looked great. It was like going second, having 3 Pegasus. Don't think we could have asked for more than that.
That was my game. That was the one I needed to close out.
Yeah.
I started to believe.
That's true. JD, any last questions for our friends?
I thought the game was great. There was one question I did have. The Lexington in that matchup. You favor the Lexington over the Dumbo. Was there any thoughts there?
3.
So I knew he was going to get frozen, but it let me deal with Pegasus a turn earlier. So it was like a bad situation no matter what. And there was also options to where I can just dock my entire, like, say I have 8 cards, I can just dock away 8 cards and not really care and unfreeze Lexington.
Oh, nice. Okay, you did have the dock. I saw that. You kept the dock.
Which I think is a totally valid line in that matchup. Anyways, it wasn't a great play, but there wasn't a better one, I didn't think. I think it was fine to take care of the Pegasus 1 turn earlier.
Okay, very cool, very cool. I like that. I like that approach, man. I like the game. It was a lot of fun to watch. Mr. Bivens putting one in the win column. Speci, I'm sorry you didn't get that favorable matchup that you wanted. I know you built this thing for some Sapphire to consume, but it didn't work out for you this time. You still have more rounds to play, and I think that you can get it done, man. I really do. But gentlemen, we do have a long action-packed day of Lorcana coming our way, and there's going to be another feature match coming right behind you guys. So there's going to be another. We're going to have Lucas, and we're going to have Sky coming up very, very soon. So we're gonna do our shout outs here. We're gonna get those luminaries lined up. You guys were the taste test. You guys were the appetizer, and then we got another dish coming up, and then we got another dish to end it off. So 3 matches happened today, all here at live and direct, man. So I want to thank you guys both. But as we start to set that match
shout
up,
those charities out. Shout those charities out.
Let's do it. Okay, again, we'll kick it over to you, Speci. We'll give your shout outs, but also mention the charity that you are playing for.
Yeah, I'm playing for mind.org.uk. It's a mental health charity. I picked it because Bradley picked it, and he had like some awesome things to say in an interview. So yeah, went for that. So big up to Bradley. I'm rooting for him to win the whole thing. I want to shout out. Let's go for a shout out for JDZ for costing all 3 games today. That is crazy.
Easy
Holding
work.
it down, carrying us. So thank you very much. Also, of course, big shout out to Zach. Always a pleasure to play against him. And I think also I'll give a little shout out to the 2 players of the next game, Sky and Lucas. They're 2 very good friends of mine. I spent a lot of time with Sky at Seattle DLC last year, and he's so much fun to be around. And then recently I spent a lot of time with Lucas in where was the most Milwaukee. And Lucas is my new favorite player. His deck building is crazy. I am like so impressed by this guy. So yeah, I'm excited to watch the game as well.
It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Okay. I love to see it, and thank you so much for the kind words. But this is nothing to me, man. This is light work. I'm having a blast seeing you guys play and do your thing. But Mr. Bivens, please take it away as the winner. Congratulations again for getting the dub. Maybe you can run it back. It's time. But the shout outs go to you. Also, maybe you can talk about your calls a little bit and anything else you want to say. The floor is yours.
Absolutely. So we're playing for Save the Children, and kids just have always played a huge part in my life and just mean a lot to me. And they do a ton of good for children. So that's the reason I chose them. Shout out to Speci, great opponent. Love playing against whatever the heck he brings to the table. You never know. So it's always exciting. Shout out to Phil.
It's probably quick.
Yep, always quick.
Yeah,
and
shout out Phil.
let the record show that I lost round 1 of the other LCCC and ran it all the way back.
Talk to him, Zach. Let's go, baby. Talk to him. Hold up, baby. Hold up. I ain't heard no bell, baby. I love it. Talk to him. We're back to the top,
That's
baby.
like a horn.
There it is, baby. I'm sorry, guys, if that was too loud for you guys. But there it is. Pop off, King. Pop off, champ. Let's go, baby. I'm sorry, Speci. I had to, I usually love you, Speci, but
deserved.
Hey, US, we got to do it. I'm not biased at all. Talk to him, Bivens. Let's go, champ. We're clapping it up. But gentlemen, man, it was a great match. I really appreciate you guys' time, and your dedication to the LCCC is wonderful, man. And what you guys do for the community as well. And you guys wear these mantles very, very well as star players, as advocates for the game. Keep up the great work. Please continue to spread the love of this game far and wide, and don't change yourselves. So we'll let you go here, and we'll hop back in and set up the next round. Gentlemen.
Have fun, everyone. Bye now.
All right. We're back. We are back. Okay. So, Dan, thoughts? Any thoughts from you, Dan? My bad. We got to get back into the thing. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm a dummy. Oh, here we go. Talk to him.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, we're back. You're back.
We're back.
You're here.
I'm here. Are you here?
Discord? Did you mute in Discord?
Oh, I'm not. Now I am though.
All right.
I think we can stay muted. It's just us and Phil now, so we can kind of.
That's fair.
Yo, Phil, how are you doing? Can Phil hear me?
I'm good.
He should be able to hear you.
Oh, there he is. Okay, so Phil's there. Okay, shout out Phil in the building. He's locked in, laser focused.
All right.
I
gotta do my justice. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of these nice clothes. I gotta put a jersey on. I gotta play in an hour. Shout out to Craig coming in for game 2. Good luck, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you.
All right, and that's TFM Dan in a nutshell. In and out. I love this Lumineer. He came in doing his thing, so we're gonna get it ready. Create is gonna be holding it down, so we're gonna get him in here. So I just need just a few moments. We're gonna do this live. Actually, I'm gonna do the rare and indigenous JDZ be right back screen. This never happens, okay? This never happens, but we got to do it to get this thing set up. So keep it locked. Please do not touch that dial. More LCCC action is coming